Alrighty guys, we're back for Selesnya counters, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have all four Formation Breaker. This is a 2-mana, 2/1. As long as you control a creature with a counter on it, this creature gets +1/+2. So more often than not, it's just going to be a 2-mana 3/3. Sounds good to me, but check this out. Creatures with power less than this creature's power can't block it. No chump blockers for the opponent. Sounds pretty darn good, actually, right? We also have Synchronized Charge, making the cut as a 4 of. It's a 2-mana sorcery. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. Creatures you control with counters on them gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. Okay, also has Harmonize for 4 and a green. So you may cast this card from your graveyard for the 5 mana. You may tap a creature you control to reduce that cost by X, where X is that creature's power, then exile this spell. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be unheard of at all to actually want to harmonize this back from the grave. Here's another new one. Warden of the Grove is a 3-mana 2/2 Hydra. At the beginning of your end step, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on this creature. Now, when you're enduring, you put X +1/+1 counters on this creature or create an XX white spirit creature token. Cool stuff, man. Interested to see how much it's going to do in this build today. So, other cards in the deck list that aren't new, like Botanical Brawler, is a 2-mana 0/0 with Trample. It enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on another permanent you control, if it's the first time that +1/+1 counters have been put on that permanent this turn, then you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's actually not half bad at all. How about some removal real quick? Got a couple Sheltered by Ghosts and a couple hard-hitting questions as well. I suppose these can be your spot removal of choice, but I landed on these for a good reason, especially like the extra protection for our important chunky creatures off of Sheltered by Ghosts. Now we have 4 Dusk Legion Duelist as the main card draw in here, actually. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with Vigilance. One or more +1/+1 counters are put on this creature. You draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, unfortunately. But if it was multiple times a turn, then oh my goodness, right? So Snakeskin Veil, making the cut as a 4 of. Excellent protection. Excellent way to put +1/+1 counters on things. We got 4 Pawpatch Recruit as our 1-drop of choice, but not the only 1-drop packed in. We have a couple Enduring Bondwardens as well, which is a 1 white mana 0/1 with backup 1. When this creature dies, put its counters on target creature you control. Okay, yeah, why not, right? I guess this could be your 1-drop creature of choice, but I think the Bondwarden might actually be decent in here as a 2 of. Also, Requisition Raid, making the cut as a 1 of. Not going to take the time to go over it right now. And similar concept with Ajani, making the cut as a 2 of. Just not going to take the time to go over it. Should be pretty good in here. All right, the land, the mana base, a lot of dual land. We got all 4 Brushlands, hopefully not doing too much damage to us. Got all 4 Hushwood Verge, all 4 Thickets, and a Restless Prairie as well. Hopefully the split in here makes sense for the split that I have over here. We'll go over the mana base more in the final thoughts, I would say. Got some honorable mentions. I almost went the mount route because District Mascot, Bulwark Ox, and Ordinary Tumblewag all fit that +1/+1 counter theme and all happen to be mounts as well. Just didn't go that route this time. Thought about Trash the Town for this deck list as well as Ozolith too. Both could have easily made the cut. Just didn't this time, right? Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. Right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? Dude, I think it's going to be good. You know, I'm scared of the meta. I really am, but I think it's going to be good. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to keep this. And we can wait on the Restless Prairie and get our turn 1 down, which is probably going to be Pawpatch Recruit. If we didn't have a 3-drop in hand, I'd consider waiting for the Offspring on the Recruit. But it should be pretty decent just to get down here on turn 1. Restless Reef from the opponent. Now we'll have an open Snakeskin Veil, which sounds pretty good to me over establishing the Prairie. Also, if we got the Prairie down, we'd only have a green source open, so we'll go Bondwarden, and I think I will back it up onto the Recruit so we get a bigger swing here. And yeah, we'll keep the Snakeskin Veil open, because that's the only thing we can do. I mean, I guess we could have played it that turn to get extra damage through, but that would be pretty bad, right? Pretty silly. Looks like they're going to pass it right back. They sure are. See if we get an untapped source for the Warden. We don't, and that's fine. Because at least we have our third when it comes time. We get to keep Snakeskin Veil open still. Right, this could be a flash creature. Still worth the swing, I would say. We get 3 through, easy peasy. Still going to be some removal from the opponent. Oh, okay. Caustic Exhale. Right, so I suppose we should go ahead and protect the Recruit, but I mean, the opponent waited for a reason. I guess one reason was if we played another creature. Still have the Brushland open, but now we don't have a Snakeskin Veil open, but the opponent doesn't know that, so they might pass it right back, giving us a chance to draw one. GG opponent, wow, I mean, well, I guess our board state was very intimidating, huh? Maybe they figured they waited too long on the Caustic Exhale. It really depends. Sometimes it's really hard to know when to drop your instant speed removal. Because at that point too, yeah, it really depends. I mean, we had the protection when we needed it. It also happened to boost our creatures pretty well too. Yeah, since our bunny rabbit dropped the counter on the other creature as well. I understand the concede, although I would have loved to play that one out too. Because I wanted to get the 3-drop Hydra down too. Alright, I like this hand as well. Hopeless Nightmare. My hand! Not my hand! Okay, I guess one of the Verge for now. Totally fine. 23 mana total packed in too, so... Alright. Get ready with the Dusk Legion Duelist, probably. Bandit's Talent. See, I like both Dusk Legion Duelists because they can help us restock our hand, and one of them is likely to die. We might start with a Botanical Brawler, try to get some removal out of the opponent's hand first. I guess Synchronized Charge is going to be the discard. At least it has the Harmonize for later on. So, we could, like I said, we could start with the Botanical Brawler and get some removal out of the opponent's hand. But now, I mean, we do have 2 Dusk Legion Duelists. If one actually gets a chance to stick around, it's probably better to get that established, right? I think so. No, Dusk Legion Duelist. Why? No, that's okay. Oh, we could double down on Pawpatch Recruit. Yeah, we sent that Verge earlier. I don't know if we... I mean... the 3rd mana really would have come in handy, but... Go Pawpatch Recruit and keep Snakeskin Veil open. I think I'm just going to go double Recruit. It wouldn't be terrible to keep one in hand for eventually Offspring, but double Recruit's pretty good. Hopeless Nightmare. Oh dear, guys. Oh dear. Opponent is really dwindling our hand right now. We need that other Dusk Legion Duelist for sure, but we might run out of a way to actually give it counters to restock our hand too. Oh no. Ruthless Negotiation as well. Goodbye, Snakeskin Veil. I'm still relying on that Dusk Legion Duelist. Oh, Snakeskin Veil. Nice. I don't know if it'll stick around, and we don't have 3 mana on the board. We'll start with the swing, of course. Get that Dusk Legion Duelist down. We'll see if we can keep our hand. If we can keep Dusk Legion Duelist around, at the very least we have Synchronized Charge. We can tap a Pawpatch Recruit if we see mana off the top. I think that would be well worth it. But first we got to find the mana. Yeah, if we didn't send this Verge, we probably... I don't know. I don't know what our hand would have looked like after the fact. No removal for the Duelist, but boosting our recruits is pretty good. Also, oh, another recruit. I'm not mad about that at all. We will play it too, and then keep the Snakeskin Veil open. The opponent is also missing some mana, which is definitely noteworthy. All right. Now, if the opponent has us discard the Snakeskin Veil, we might as well just play it out of our hand, right? Depending on if we think on the stack they'll drop removal or something. They're going to upgrade Bandit's Talent. They still got 2 mana. I think the opponent finally ran out of removal. Or discard spells too. No, it's a hopeless nightmare. Crap. And a swamp could still be a cut down that hits any of the recruits. I'd say it's worth trying the Snakeskin Veil for sure. I guess we'll spread it wide. Although... yeah, I guess we spread it wide. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, we're down to 12 though. Another Snakeskin Veil. That's awesome, dude. They dropped the GGs. I mean, we have 9 on the board. So, I mean, I guess, yeah. Good game, opponent. So for the Synchronized Charge, I would have loved to see that do something here, but let's talk about that for a second. Also, I didn't actually drop the GGs in return. I think it's a little late now, unfortunately. Anyways, right, so if we would have harmonized this for 2 mana, tap down one of our 3/3s, or 3/2s, I should say, right? Would have cost 2 mana. Then we would have gotten 2 counters on the other Pawpatch Recruits that we didn't tap down. They would have gained Trample and Vigilance until the end of turn, but it would have only been 8 damage getting through then, right? So it was just better to full swing with the Snakeskin Veil, which was a very good draw, but I guess at that point, anything that gave us an extra counter on the board would have been pretty decent there. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Not bad, not bad. We definitely need to see the deck list do a little more, right? Definitely need to see getting past the 3rd mana too. Oh, a ton of mana this time. I like the creatures in hand. Turn 2 Brawler, turn 3 Warden into the Dusk Legion Duelist, where we can actually endure. I like this. We go first, which is a great sign too. Guess it doesn't really matter what mana we end up playing here. Spyglass Siren. Oh, well, Thicket means we play Thicket. And then, yep, Brawler. Yeah, Duelist is going to come after the Warden, if the Warden gets to stick around. If we had Snakeskin Veil in hand with all this extra mana, I might even wait till turn 4 for the Warden, but without the protection, we just go for it and hope. Destroy evil. They send it. Huh. Well, they must have enough removal in hand then. Torch the tower for my Brawler. Ew, monster. So Jeskai colors over there. More mana. Oh no, that's pretty bad. Well, we don't need the Brushland. Okay, establish Warden and hope that it's not another Torch the Tower. Oh, but they won't be able to bargain. Well, we can't say that, right? Because it's pretty cheap spells, so. Okay, Oculus. Okay, Jeskai Oculus is a pretty scary deck list. Snakeskin Veil. Hi, dude. All right, now we're talking. Let's go ahead and I guess we wait on the mana, see what we draw. So Dusk Legion Duelist. +1 counter. Draw on the Duelist. Botanical Brawler. Man, I'd love to get that down for the turn, but I think keeping the Snakeskin Veil open's a little better. Oculus probably coming back from the grave next turn, though, too. We might be in danger either way. Maybe we do establish the Brawler. If they reanimate, maybe they won't have enough mana for removal for the turn. That's a tough decision, man. I feel like the best decision... I wonder if going wide would be better than counters. No, probably not, right? Probably going tall is a little better. Oh, we can swing here successfully. I guess we could have done that first. Yeah, not having the Veil open super sketchy, but they do find a third mana. So now they could reanimate and still hit something. Yeah, it's a 6/6 Oculus. They're about to manifest Dread as well. All right, it passes back. We have protection open. Dude, with this board state, this is a fun one, huh? Mana! Ew! How dare! So with this Vantage open, it could easily be Torch the Tower, and they could easily bargain by sending the Fear of Missing Out, pop the Duelist, because I'd love to go Snakeskin Veil on Duelist and draw here, but that's pretty risky. Outside of that, we don't really have anything else, so maybe we do that anyways. Because Oculus is going to run away with this game if we don't find something. I mean, what's the odds that it's another Torch the Tower, huh? What's the odds? We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's do this, man. Ah, get down! Dusk Legion Duelist, run! No! Alright. I risked it. Hey, sometimes it's worth the risk, and other times it's not, I suppose. So also, this is a pretty bad flood, I would say, for this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the top 12 with 23 mana. Yeah, I think that's a flood. I guess it's not as bad as I was thinking, but that's a good chunk of land. Okay, they manifest Dread. We need to see something terrific here. Another Warden. Huh. Yeah. Another Warden isn't half bad, is it? I wonder if they full block like all three into this Warden of the Grove. I guess they wouldn't have to if they have another Torch the Tower. So maybe we play the Warden out of hand first. Since the opponent's going wide, I guess it doesn't matter because we're not going to push the damage through this turn anyways. So we do this and then go counters so that way the Brawler gets a little boost. No! The opponent just picked us apart. Alright, I'll swing with the Brawler. They gladly take it. We got to see some really cool synergies here, and I got to learn a lesson of always just keep the Veil open. But boy, the card draw was tempting, especially once they got that early Oculus, man. Did I drop the GGs? Good game, opponent. Good game. Honestly, we don't get to see Jeskai Oculus very often, right? How often do you guys run into the Jeskai version? Usually, it's just straight up Azorius Reanimator, which is an equally brutal deck list. I feel like the Jeskai has so many neat tools, though. The Fear of Missing Out. The excellent early removal, which of course works really well against all the mice that we've been seeing, too. Yeah, that Jeskai Oculus is probably in a great position. So if I didn't risk it with the Dusk Legion Duelist, there was a chance that they would have tried to remove it at the end of their turn. And then maybe we could have gone Snakeskin Veil on top of the stack. But since I risked it, right, it went the opposite way. They were the ones on top of the stack instead, so. All right, we keep this. We see what we can get done here. And we can just play the forest and go right into the recruit, I suppose. We don't have double white for Ajani, but we shouldn't get too punished. Unless we see another Ajani. Torch the tower. Opponent. There's the second white source. Definitely establish the duelist and try to go into Ajani next turn. Especially since we have the second duelist in hand too. For when they remove the first one. Opponent. Don't you do it, opponent. Don't you do it. Just play a creature. Aw, man. Okay, Sheltered by Ghosts. Guys, I'm tempted to just establish Ajani. You know, Torch the Tower doesn't hit Ajani. Well, it does, but it doesn't kill Ajani. Just get it down. It's a 3-mana, 5 loyalty planeswalker. Then we go Duelist next turn. Or we could go Duelist and try the Bondwarden. The Plains doesn't hit it. That's probably pretty good too, right? Back up on the Duelist, draw a card. Now they need to bargain a Torch the Tower to get rid of the Duelist, which might be a little harder for them. Outside of that, if they play something for 3 mana, maybe we'll be able to pick it up with the Sheltered by Ghosts. Carrot Cake. I don't really want to pick that up with a Sheltered by Ghost, so I guess we hit the token instead. Duskrose Reliquary. Ah, man. Okay, I guess that's what we pick up with the... What's the ward on this? It's ward 2, and then they'll, if they pop the Sheltered by Ghost, they'll easily... I mean, they'll get the ETB back on the Duskrose Reliquary. Maybe now we establish... Okay, Synchronized Charge isn't bad, but somehow we got to keep creatures on the board too. Establish Ajani, put some counters on the Bondwarden. Put 1 counter on the Bondwarden. Think about Sheltered by Ghost next turn. Because once the Ajani's down, maybe that'll be the time. Pick up the Reliquary, get the Legion Duelist back, then activate the Ajani's plus. Makes a little bit of sense, right? So far, 3 pieces of well-placed spot removal. I mean, it really could be all they need. As now they're in the part of the game where board wipes are introduced, right? So that's an issue for sure. Brass Forge. Oh, and they definitely like their board wipes too, if it's the Forge build. Full swing at the Ajani. Block the Bunny Rabbit. Ajani gets to stick around. Now the Sheltered by Ghost can pick up the Forge too. That's actually a really good target. I'd love to get the Legion Duelist back to try to restock the hand though. If we do too much, yeah, if we do that under a Sheltered by Ghosts, then if the board wipe does come down, that would just be a disaster, right? However, this is exile target artifact or creature, so at least the Duskrose Reliquary doesn't hit the Ajani. A lot of Dusk going on over here. Okay, I apologize, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. Right, so Botanical Brawler, put the Sheltered by Ghost, grab the Forge. I feel like that's actually pretty good, right? Also, Synchronized Charge is probably pretty good here too. Like, we don't have to take the Forge right now. We could just save the Sheltered by Ghosts. Synchronized Charge might be a little better after we get to keep the Brawler around, though. So maybe I'll actually I'll target the Bondwarden instead for a little bit of extra damage this turn. But now the ward isn't on the brawler, but we shouldn't worry too much about the ward when the opponent is in the board wipe territory. I don't know, man. Tough decisions, because no matter what path we take, we have to kind of consider our creatures goners. And so when you think of it like that, there doesn't appear to be a correct path with them, you know what I mean? I will say this, we got that one of Restless Land for a reason. They might miss their 5th. They go Lightning Helix. They are going to pay that ward cost, get the Urbrass Forge back. So we put a big enough target on the... where'd it go? Oh, there. We put a big enough target on the Bondwarden, ended up saving the Brawler, which is huge news. We have the -3 on the Ajani, and we could try to get 10 through here, but I think that's probably a little unnecessary, as we can just go +1 for the turn and try a bigger swing next turn. Snakeskin Veil in hand is great news. I wonder if we do Synchronized Charge. It's a tough decision, man. All right. All right. Vigilance and everything's pretty good here, too. I hope they don't try to wipe the board for just one creature. I hope it's just generic spot removal. A Get Lost or something. That way the Snakeskin Veil can pull us there. 5th mana. Okay. Whew. Whew. It's not a Sunfall. We're fine, guys. We're fine. Now, if their last card in hand is generic spot removal, Snakeskin Veil can protect the Brawler. I wonder if it's worth the block. Yeah, I guess so. Since Snakeskin Veil's in hand, it's worth the block. I can't think of anything that... Okay, they don't even swing, which is good. They do have some life gain on the Carrot Cake. 3 mana open. Torch the Tower, the Ajani. Oh, that's so good, opponent. That gets it away from the -3. Snakeskin Veil only protects creatures. Crap. That was really good, opponent. Okay. Well, I mean, we still have the plus on the Ajani. They still got the 2 for the Carrot Cake. They're going back up to 15 this turn, probably. They'll have an extra bunny rabbit, too. Oh, another Ajani. Wow. Guys, the game said, here you go. I'll take it, dude. I'll take it gladly. What a draw, man. Holy cow. Holy cow. All right. Go, 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 go. Botanical Brawler. Swing. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, the opponent's letting the swing go through too. That's an MVP right there. Thank you, opponent. Thank you. That's pretty fun. 2 Ajanis. 2 Ajanis. Not 1 Ajani, 2 Ajanis. Look at that. Hopefully I played that one out well enough. Like, there's sometimes when the opponents are playing so much removal, you gotta like try your best at some form of mind games. It kind of worked out. Guys, we're 29 minutes in already. Holy cow. While I have you here towards the end-ish, middle-ish, end-ish of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And then also, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. Oh, and thank you. All right, we go first. I like this. I like seeing Formation Breaker because I really want to do that. I really want to see this do a thing today. All right. Trying to get the Verge down, but the Forest also makes sense here. Seachrome Coast. I guess I'd prefer the Formation Breaker dying. We can go Duelist after the Warden is established. We'll try turn 3 Warden. Clayfire Bricks, nice. One we don't get to see very often. Up to 22. Another Verge. Warden doesn't get the counter till the end step, but the opponent's tapped out, so I just decide to play it now anyways. There we go. That's pretty neat. Now, a temporary lockdown doesn't pick up the Warden of the Grove, which is great news. Braided Net. Okay. That'll tap down the chunkiest thing. Pawpatch Recruit's pretty darn good, isn't it? But we should save that to restock the board after the board wipe. And I think we actually go Duelist and Charge for the turn and spread the counter 1 on the Duelist. No, that's only 1 per turn anyway, so we can spread it on the swing. I suppose we start with the Synchronized Charge then, because I want to get maximum damage through here. They tap down the Warden, and now we go Dusk Legion Duelist. Choose the counters option from the Warden. Okay, it's mana, which is not terrific. Alright. I hope they miss the 4 mana board wipe. I hope it's a Sunfall build, not a... temporary lockdown does not pick up the Warden of the Grove, which is good news. However, Braided Net still tapping down the Warden. Quite successfully. We have ways to remove the temporary lockdown in here, which could be excellent. It's just all those counters that we stocked up on him too. And now we're definitely in Sunfall territory. Oh, 1 second, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. I've been dropping the thinking a lot more recently. I can't tell if it's because of the new cards or... I'm just playing really slowly for some reason. Alright, let's go with Alright, let's go with Pawpatch Recruit Offspring. We'll have 2 open if we play the Forest. I got the Seachrome Coast open over there too. And the Braided Net, of course. So for the Pawpatch Recruit, I think both of these options is pretty good. I'm going to go with the counters option. Now we have the Synchronized Charge if we want to try it for the turn. But I feel like it's going to be the board wipe. That's definitely a problem. So I'm just going to establish the Thicket. And I guess technically we could harmonize the other Pawpatch Recruits, which actually might not be bad since they're going to tap down the Warden anyways, right? They have the Braided Net. Although Braided Net isn't an infinite tap down, when they tap it down, they use the net counters, right? So I guess I didn't want to do that. Uh-oh, untap source. Oh, it's just another Braided Net. That's actually terrible news for us, but it's not a Sunfall, so it's not the worst news. Oh, dude, these Braided Nets really locking us down. Oh no, more mana. Oh, that's really bad. Oh no. And 2 Braided Nets locking down 2 of our biggest, chunkiest things. I think we're in so much danger that it would be silly to play around anything. We just go for it. Right? I think so. We just go for it. Now they'll tap down the 7/6 and the 6/6. We went Pawpatch Recruit because at the end the Warden's going to gain an extra thing anyways. Nice Pawpatch Recruit doing the thing here. At least we get to have 3 tall creatures, right? Yeah, it wouldn't be bad to stack a lot of this onto the Warden. It's just like based on what we're up against, you know? On us down to 10. We do have Synchronized Charge if we want to tap down the Pawpatch Recruit, but I think we don't. We do have the 5 mana available next turn to do it too if we want. But I feel like there's a board wipe incoming, guys. They might miss the board wipe. We might be able to go tall enough onto one creature. Thanks to the Pawpatch Recruit. Okay, they craft with the braided net. That's a really good sign, right? I think that's a really good sign. Grand Spider, okay. Yeah, they're still going to tap down the biggest thing. More mana, bro. That's way too much mana. All right, we can get the planes down. Harmonize. And I guess the 2 we want to target. I guess, again, the Pawpatch Recruit. Yeah, GG opponent. We didn't know what that last mana was. When they tap down the biggest thing with the braided net, we're going to get a couple more counters thanks to the Pawpatch Recruit being a friggin' beautiful creature. My goodness, huh? Guys, let's end on a high note. Taking out control. They missed the Sunfall. I mean, the deck list really did the thing today, didn't it? It felt decent. I might have been getting a little lucky in some of those too. It definitely felt lucky when we saw the second Ajani there as well. That was pretty wild stuff. Yeah, guys. Okay. Here's the deck list again. Even the Enduring Bondwarden felt pretty decent, didn't it? The double Sheltered by Ghosts and the 2 hard-hitting questions is probably not going to be enough removal for most cases. But like when you start dropping some of the other things, you start ripping some of the soul out of the deck list just to add more removal. It feels a little bad sometimes. Something we didn't get to go up against today was actually mice. Whether it's mono red or Boros or wherever the mice are landing. They land in Gruul sometimes too, right? The Heartfire Heroes, the Manifold Mouse, and the Challengers are devastating cards that go really fast. I call it hyper aggro for a reason. And that's why we're seeing so much removal in everyone else's deck list. That's why we're seeing so many Torch the Towers and everything else, right? Just what it seems like is an infinite stream of spot removal. And so when you're trying to play deck lists like this that are playing a bunch of other creatures that are really neat, is just you're constantly running into that stream of spot removal. And so we're trying to do something like trade our 1 mana Snakeskin Veil for their 2 mana spot removal and actually get to keep our established creature on the board. Or if it's getting into that mid game, a super established creature, like in that last one where our creatures were going very tall. Sheltered by Ghosts, if you are going up, removal is probably the removal you want to go up. There's going to be some moments where you actually just can't keep a creature on the board. And now you don't have a target for the Sheltered by Ghosts, which means you're never going to be able to pick up their temporary lockdown or something. So you could look into like Get Lost too, especially if you are seeing a lot of temporary lockdown or similar concepts to that as well. Get Lost, of course, is going to be incredible. So yeah, your choice spot removal does make a lot of sense. Requisition Raid has a spree cost here for its 1 white mana, it's sorcery speed. For the additional cost of 1, you can destroy an artifact. For the additional cost of 1, you can destroy an enchantment. For the additional cost of 1, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. And of course, you're going to want to target yourself there. I think this makes a lot of sense as a 1-of. There's a decent amount of artifacts that we wouldn't mind popping with this. There's a ton of enchantments that we would not mind popping with this. And if you're not popping any of those, plug in a +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures for 2 mana in a deck list like this that really cares about that. You're not going to be mad about that at all. What if you have a couple Dusk Legion Duelists on the board at that point too, and now it's a +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures, and it's a draw 2 as well. The Dusk Legion Duelist has like the biggest target on his back. Oh, guys, because of all 4 Snakeskin Veils, right? We kind of flooded in a couple of those games because I opted for 23 mana, but there's a really good reason I opted for 23 mana. because sometimes you don't want your 2-drop on 2 based on what you're up against. The opponent's only playing swamps, for example. Sometimes you want your 2-drop on 3, keep the Snakeskin Veil open. So honestly, based on what we've been seeing, I could see even more protection being packed into this deck list. At that point, you'd probably want to look at protection that also gives more counters too. How would I find those cards? Gaia's Gift is decent. It's another 2-mana card though. That's another reason for the 23, guys. We have a lot of 2-mana cards, or cards that well, I guess like Requisition Raid could be considered like a 2-mana card too, but it could be more if there's multiple targets or something. But anyways, when you have so many 2-mana cards, there's going to be a lot of games where you want to see your 4th mana on turn 4 to play 2 2-drops. That's not going to be unheard of at all. That's going to happen quite often. So if you go down to 22 mana, I don't know, there's probably going to be a lot of games where you're really wishing. I mean, sometimes you'll go down to 22 and you'll just be stuck not finding your 3rd for a while. I mean, we even had that in one game today too, didn't we? We had, is that like the first game where we only had 2 mana for quite some time? I don't know. I think this deck list really likes having mana on the board. Now, not too much mana, so I don't think we need to go up to 24. But 23 is probably about where we want it. Anyways, about that other protection, Gaia's Gift could be really cool. Reach, Trample, Hexproof, Indestructible, and that +1/+1 counter is kind of no joke. But even more 2-drops, you know, I mean, this could have at the very least been in the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions, I mean, Bulwark Ox made the cut in the honorable mentions. It has that middle ability where you can sacrifice it. You don't even have to tap it or anything. You can just straight up sacrifice it whenever. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Just one of those things where all the honorable mentions could have been pretty decent in here. They just didn't make the cut this time. There's just so many ways to put together any individual deck list. Oh, Invasion of Gabakhan. Dude, yeah, this is also one to maybe consider. I don't know what you would drop for this, but being able to peer into the opponent's hand, grab those removal spells that I was just talking about, or the board wipes that we were very concerned about in a lot of those games today, right? Make it cost 2 more is no joke, because this deck list should, in theory, go fast enough before they actually are able to pay that additional cost if you're grabbing it early game, of course. But then also, it's easy to flip too. Just 3 defense counters should be just 1 swing from one of our creatures. And then the Light Shield Array continues to boost our board state of creatures that attacked with +1/+1 counters. Dude, heck yeah, this should have made an honorable mention for sure. Yeah, Invasion of Gabakhan. Like I said, I have no idea what you'd want to drop. Maybe like a Synchronized Charge. Boy, I really liked this today too, though. I really liked the Harmonize on this too. That last game against Control, there was that one turn I could have optimized a little better. Thankfully, we didn't get punished. And we were still able to get there. But I really like this card. This is neat. This is really neat, actually. There's going to be times, too, where you get to that late game and it's chilling in your grave. You already utilized it a little bit at the beginning. And you're just not going to be mad at all playing it for 5 mana just to give your creatures trample or something, you know? At that point, like, the extra counters are just a little bit of a bonus. Maybe you're plugging those extra counters onto things and you're growing your Botanical Brawlers at the same time. I don't know how often the Vigilance will come in handy. I'd say, of course, it comes in handy most often at the beginning of the game, giving us excellent blockers still against those hyper aggro deck lists that I already brought up to you. Now, it's pretty hard to successfully block against those decks because Monstrous Rage is just everywhere. I always make the joke, there's 59 Monstrous Rage packed into the build, 1 Heartfire hero, and that's the whole deck. And that's what it feels like sometimes. And so, yeah, I don't know how, realistically, I don't know how often the Vigilance will come in handy, but it should at some point. At some point, that Vigilance, you'll be glad that there's Vigilance on Synchronized Charge. I can't think of the moments right now. Formation Breaker. Yeah, this deck list is really hard to chump block, dude. The same thing as Mice. Like mono red's really hard to chump block for good reasons. This deck list is also really hard to chump with all the additional trample on Recruit, on Brawler. Formation Breaker, having that top ability, creatures with power less than this creature's power can't block. Just kind of like a better version of trample, right? Oh, I mean, that's something. That's a line of text. I would have loved to see that come into play today, but I think that'll come into play often. And yeah, just not letting the opponents chump block successfully. And cards like Dusk Legion Duelist don't have trample. I already got that Vigilance too, but you can give it trample with the Synchronized Charge. Yeah, it should be a very hard deck list to chump. Ajani also sending them in the air with the double strike on the -3. Oh, Warden of the Grove also doesn't have trample or vigilance, so that's another thing that we can give trample to with the Synchronized Charge as well. Yeah, this is a tough one to actually think about what we want to trade out here. Also, we saw in those games that our creatures definitely went tall enough for cards like Hard Hitting Question to pick up most things. Hitting creatures or planeswalkers is very important. There's a lot of planeswalkers we want to be able to pick up for sure. Huh. Lots to say about this, man. I had a good time with this, and I really think it showcased itself too. I actually think Warden of the Grove was kind of awesome, right? it was kind of really good. On 3, when it survives, and then like the turn 4 Dusk Legion Duelist is just really neat, isn't it? On 3 too, like if it does survive that initial turn, on your 4th turn, now you could also have like the Snakeskin Veil open. You play the Dusk Legion Duelist. On the stack, they try to pop the Warden, but then you Snakeskin Veil. It's an extra counter on Warden, which means an extra Endure on the Dusk Legion Duelist, so it's coming in as a 4/4 Vigilance. It's really neat. I don't know. There's a lot of really cool synergies here. I like this a lot. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the deck list as much as I did. Definitely let me know in the comments. What would you add or take out? What does your Selesnya Counters deck list look like? Like I said, there's a lot of neat ways we could have put this together, so. All right, guys. I think that's everything. If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.